I think about, you said 80 pounds. What would my life be like if I weighed 80 pounds less? And it just makes me think about all of your scale victories and all of your non-scale victories after spending a year on this weight loss journey. If you would please just share some of your 80 pounds down. We know that much, but what are some of your non-scale victories, Grant?
Well, one that I just said on my live before this that kind of resonated with me was we went hiking yesterday, which in itself is a non-scale victory, really. But during the hike, we had my 5-year-old niece with us, and of course, at that age, carry me, carry me. So, of course, I gladly did, and I put her on my shoulders like I used to with Destiny at that age, and I was like, wow, this is nothing like it was when Destiny was on my shoulders in the past. I mean, of course, that was, 8 years ago. So, big difference. It was just so easy to just boop right on my shoulders. Didn't get tired as much. Eventually, you always get tired, but it was so much more manageable. And Christy did the same thing. And at the end of the trail, Christy was running away from his plan, and I actually ran with her on my shoulders and didn't collapse. So that was awesome.
That is utterly amazing. And I was hoping that you would talk a little bit about your trips to Dollywood and the amusement parks and
Yeah.
hiking and all of that.
Oh yeah.
I I can tell, even with a little over 20 pounds off of my body, I have so much more energy. And I just pray that that continues. I'm just, every time we have this panel every Monday night, I get so inspired by everyone's journey. And speaking of journey, we want to welcome in Kim J's Sweet
Yay.
Healthy
Hello,
Life.
hello.
Kim J, would you share a little bit about your journey as an introduction? And we'll go from there.
Hello, hello. Thanks. I am Kim J of Kim J Sweet Healthy Life. I am on a better health journey. I found out I had type 2 diabetes in 2024. That was July of 2024. And my A1C at that time was 15.1. I was able to get my A1C back down to the normal range in 5 months. And I have some history of high blood pressure, hypertension. I also have a kidney disease, cholesterol. I've dealt with several different comorbidities. And yes, I am thriving now. And I thank God for it. Back to you, KendyK.
I thank God for you too, because I think about, I just was watching some of your content with you and your workout clothes, and you first of all, you had that edited so well, so cute, because we
Thank
have
you.
to laugh at ourselves sometime, but
Yeah.
you reinforce that idea of regular exercise is part of your weight loss journey, and
Yes.
working on your arms. These are all areas that I need to work on, my midsection, all of that.
Mhm.
And you talked about being a type 2 diabetic, and also a blood pressure. That
Yeah.
blood pressure for me is probably one of the big reasons that I wanted to work on weight loss and
Mhm.
decided to go ahead and use a GLP-1 for that. I've talked about this before, but I'm happy to share it again. I was taking 3 blood pressure pills
Mhm.
and still did not have a well controlled blood pressure.
Mhm.
And before I started the GLP-1, though, I had already been working for over a year with a registered dietitian. And
Mhm.
in that year, y'all, barely 20 pounds, somewhere between 20 and 25 pounds, waffling
Mhm.
up, waffling down for a year.
Right.
Just losing and gaining the same 5 to 7 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds. And so for me to have lost, as I start week 9, I'm in week 9 of my Zepbound journey. I'm just, wow. And
Mhm.
I'm just excited to hear that, the longevity in which you all continue to take the medication and it
Yes.
continues to work for you.
Yes. Yes.
Grant, as we get started, would you share a little bit more about what caused you to go ahead and start to take GLP-1 and deciding to use the medication for weight loss?
Type 2 diabetes was the main thing.
Yep.
The weight loss has just been a nice secondary thing that came too, but it all intertwines together. Weight loss helps the type 2 diabetes and the sleep apnea. Everything just helped everything get in line and help me have a much better journey than I was on.
Yes.
Let's talk about nutrition and let's talk about what we eat as GLP-1 users. So, Kim J, would you remind us again what medication you are taking as a type 2 diabetic and talk to us about what your diet is like on this journey and especially eating proteins?
Okay. So I am taking Mounjaro for which is a trizepatide GLP-1 GIP agonist. It has two agonists in it, and yes, I use that to control my type 2 diabetes. And the food I eat, I decided, and I just did what I wanted to do before the journey, and was hoping that everything was going to be good. I can just do what Kim J wanted to do, and so I ate out a lot because of the way I was, how I was working a lot of hours and things of that nature. Know how to cook, but chose to just go out to eat because it was just easier, or grab something and bring it back home and eat because of the long hours I was working in the mortgage industry and banking. And so with that being said, I decided when because I had hypertension and kidney disease, I developed that before I developed diabetes. And I was just going around, just doing my own thing. I did get on some, little diet, especially keto, tried to do that several times. And that never was sustainable for me. Because even though I love protein, I've always been high protein. I realized I also like carbs a lot too. So with that being said, when I found out I had diabetes, I decided to go on a better health journey. Okay. And I said, you know what? I was scared and I was like, you know what? I need to find something, that's going to be sustainable for me. And so I decided to, go on a low carb diet, very, very low at the time. And then after that, I realized I needed to start upping my carbs a little bit, but I'm on a high protein, high fiber, low carb diet. And that helps me control my diabetes. And also helped me lose 74 pounds or 74, 76 pounds in a year. Yes. So a lot of diabetics, it's hard for them to lose, that much weight and in so short a time. But yes, I was able to lose that. So I'm happy, and also my blood pressure, it went down, so I was able to go back in a normal range with that as well. Yes. So that kind of diet helped me out a whole lot.
Okay, and we know that Kim J, that diet is so important. So we hear people talking about prioritizing protein, prioritizing protein. You
Yes.
just mentioned it, low carb and high fiber. But what does that look like? Give us a day in the life of Kim J and what you're eating as you prioritize protein.
Okay. So I definitely look at labels, especially like say if I'm eating like I love tuna fish. And so I may say in the morning I may eat like 2 eggs. I try not to get too many at one time. Like some people like 3, but I'll do 2 eggs because I'm still kind of watching my cholesterol as well. So I'll do 2 eggs. I'll do 4 pieces of bacon because I love bacon, 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 bacon. And then I do pork bacon. I have to have something that I like. So, I know a lot of people do turkey bacon for less fat and everything. I just try to make sure I get a good type of, protein whenever I get it. But so I still eat pork and I eat beef, but I do like tuna as well. So I still eat, some of everything. I'm able to eat, from different, food groups. So I'm happy about that. But yes, so a day in life for me is, I'll get 2 eggs, 4 pieces of bacon, and I'll get, I slice it to a toast. And then I make sure I put some, like high fiber jelly on it. Skinny Girl is the one that I choose to use. It's a great preserve, so I'll use that. That gives me 3 grams of fiber as well. I put Benefiber in my Profi. With Profi is a protein coffee. So I make sure I get protein from that. So that's protein right there, just, off the bat in the morning. And then just heavy protein in the morning. And then with that, after that, I'll, for lunch, I may eat a tuna wrap. I love tuna wraps. Or I may do tuna on a actual bed of lettuce, have an actual salad with it.
Tuna
Um,
salad.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So I'll do that. For dinner, I may do some chicken, like some grilled chicken, or maybe, pan seared chicken, strips, and I'll put some veggies with it, like broccoli. So that has fiber in it as well. I'll put flaxseed on. I actually put flaxseed on my toast. I put flaxseed in my. I love flaxseed, y'all. So I put flaxseed powder also, like in my tuna fish, on the wrap. And I use a Mission low-carb wrap, which has a good bit of protein and a whole lot of fiber. Yes, and it tastes great. And then also, because I have to make sure it's tasty. I can't just eat food just to be eaten. It has to be tasty for me. And then, like I said, for dinner, I'll do chicken, maybe chicken strips, some kind of way, and then I'll eat broccoli. And then I may put a little, like some wild rice, or like quinoa, right? Wild rice and quinoa, or I may do like some basmati rice, which is low glycemic index rice, things like that. Or I do a baked potato, something like that. That would be a day in life for me, for as eating is concerned. Yes, a lot of protein.
Well, you're pushing that protein right down
Yes.
to the profit.
Yes.
That is protein coffee. And
Yes.
do you have a brand that you normally use, Kim J, on the profit?
Okay, so at one point, for a long time, because I've been on this journey almost 2 years now, I was doing Premier Protein coffee. Oh, I'm sorry, Premier Protein shake. But honey, I discovered a protein coffee that it's better for you. I guess better ingredients, and it's called Chike. Love it. I love it. So once I tried that and I started drinking that, I went and I had ran out one day and I tried. I said, let me go and just grab, at Walmart, grab a Premier Protein, and tried that for the next day, until I got back, bought some more Chike. And honey, I was like, I do not like this, honey.
Okay.
I don't like it no more. So yeah,
Yeah.
so Chike is my brand of coffee that I like, or protein that I like.
And we have a question from Jackie McKeever. Do you measure and weigh your food, Kim J?
Okay, so with that being said, truth be told, not anymore. I did for the first year. I did weigh and measure. I had a tracker. I used the My Net Diary app, and yes, I did weigh and track my food a lot of days, not every day. Okay, but yes, I did most of the days. And then once you start doing that, you're able to kind of eyeball it at the time. So I did go into intuitive eating after I stopped doing the weighing and everything. But yes, once, like I said, once you get into doing it after so long, you kind of eyeball it and know kind of what you're doing. But I'm thinking about y'all going back to it. I really am. So yeah, we'll get into that another time.
Okay, Grant, can you give us an idea maybe what pushing protein looks like for you as a male? Like, tell us something, give us a day in the life of Grant and how you are consuming protein as part of your GLP-1 weight loss journey.
Still a work in progress for me. I'm not near where Kim J's status is there, but I do a lot of supplemental things. The protein shakes. I usually start my day with one of those and one of those protein bars. Felicia Mary B recommended some Atkins bars I've been eating recently, and they have 17 grams, I think, in each one, and so that's good. And then actually, I've been doing a lot of these that Felicia Marie B's been recommending. I drink the Bucked, B as in boy, UCKED drinks, Bucked Up, and they have about 25 grams of protein in those. So, after my shake and bar, I'll drink one of those during lunch, and that's actually a carbonated protein drink. So,
Wow.
with no sugar or anything else in it, just mainly protein. So, um, it's really good and changes it up. Makes me think I'm drinking soda when I'm really not. So, and then for fiber, I still do my Metamucil gummies each day, and then my little Grunes gummies each day as well. And they don't only have fiber, but they have a lot of green vitamins that I don't get because I don't eat a lot of greens. I'll be honest. I've still a long ways from that. But uh, not to say that my father-in-law don't try to push some collard greens down me sometimes, but I just can't do it yet. I've lived a life of picky eating, I'll be honest, and it's still a work in progress. But my tastes have changed over the years, and it's starting to get better, but I'm still a long ways away. So, but yeah, that's how I get my protein in most days, and my fiber.
Well, both of you have me beat 25-gram protein shakes that's carbonated. Y'all, all of this is brand new for me. I mean, I'm still using my Quest, a 30-gram protein shakes, vanilla only. And that's something that Kim mentioned was, does it taste good? And so I'm glad to hear you say, Grant, that you want things that taste good, but also do have the high protein and high fiber. And those carbs, not so much on those carbs, right?
Right.
Is what we're all promoting as far as this. And thank you to Darium. Thank you for
Yes.
being here and reminding us that this is not medical advice. We are simply sharing our personal experiences as GLP-1 users. I
Yes.
am taking Zepbound, and Grant, you're taking
Mounjaro.
Mounjaro as a type 2 diabetic. And Kim J, you're taking
Mounjaro. Yep.
Mounjaro again. And so with that question, because both of you are type 2 diabetics, is that one of the most common GLP-1s for type 2 diabetics to take? Or is it just kind of what your doctor? I don't know. I hear a lot of people who have type 2 diabetes using Mounjaro.
Yeah, it's the one that's covered with insurance more often than not. It seems to be in my case. And Ozempic is another one. I think some still take, don't they, Kim Jane?
Yeah, yeah. There's people that take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I asked the endocrinologist, can I take Mounjaro? Yeah, when I found out I had type 2 diabetes. And when I talked to her, I asked her, I said, which one do you think is best to take, Mounjaro or Ozempic? And for her, she told me, for me, she thought it would be great to take Mounjaro. Mounjaro has two agonists, the GLP-1 as well as the GIP agonist, and it helps with satiety and food noise. And then, so, it's kind of like, you got two things versus the one thing. So Ozempic only has the GLP-1, which is the satiety. So yes, why not, get the most bang for its buck? So yes, that's why I decided to take Mounjaro. Yes.
Right.
Okay. And so speaking of, we're all trying to eat more. And let me just be honest with you. On week 9, what did I eat today? Not enough. I did not have enough protein today. I started out okay. I had a chicken breast, but it was a very small chicken breast, a grilled chicken breast, and eggs. And I did not get all the eggs down. I started with the chicken because I wanted to get the most protein into my body. And I left eggs on my plate. And that's all I've had today.
Okay.
And so
There.
when we talk about satiety and the food noise being silenced, it is silenced. And Mondays are, heavy duty work days for me to start out my work week on my full-time job. And I'm just grinding it out. And it's hard to get
Yeah.
the protein in because the food noise, my urges to pop up, I work from home, to pop up and go grab a snack, in between my meetings, I don't have those urges anymore. And that's a good thing. But I should be setting reminders to walk. I did go outside and walk in between meetings today. Me and my mom went outside to walk, so that was a
Oh,
blessing.
that's
Yes.
And yeah, we walked the driveway, we walked the ramp, and everything. So, but again, I needed to, help her, and I fixed her lunch, right? I fixed her roasted chicken and carrots, leftovers from Sunday dinner, and still did not eat protein again. So I've got to push protein, and I'm not having coffee, y'all. This was supposed to be a hot coffee drink.
Mm-hmm.
And bless her heart, I couldn't tell the young lady, ma'am, I thought that was a hot coffee drink you were making
Mm-hmm.
me. Something new I ordered, and from a local brewer, and it's a
Hmm.
cold coffee drink. So these are just wasted calories, and I'm just gonna set this to the side. And she gave me all these stickers, but y'all, anyway, anyway, we have so many folks in the chat. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everything. Grant, share with us, what does, after 80 pounds of weight loss in just a little over a year, what does healthy mean for you?
Well, that's actually something I've been reflecting on a lot lately. And, you know, a lot of people think, and we even did it today. One of the numbers we say in our introduction is how much we've lost. And it is a big, significant sign of getting healthier. However, it's not the main sign. Um, and as Barb with Health at Any Cost said yesterday on her live, and it resonated with me. With this medication, no matter which one you're on, this GLP or GLP-1, your inside starts to heal so much quicker than the outside shows. You begin to become healthy even before you realize it, with your blood work numbers, the A1C for me and Kim J going down to what it needed to be. I mean, within the first 3 months, I believe both went down dramatically. Now, of course, months after that, it got even better, but mine went down from 11.1 to 6.5 in 3 months. I mean, wow. And the medicine just does so great to start almost immediately inside. I mean, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not a super responder and all this," and weight wise, maybe you're not, but I can guarantee you, inside, you're a lot healthier than you were before you started taking the GLP-1. So that is something to keep in mind when you say, "Am I healthier now? Am I healthy? My scale hasn't moved much." Don't think on that only. You need to think on what's happening on the inside, and not only physically, but mentally. When you start to sleep better because your A1Cs went down, and you're not going to the restroom all night long because you're trying to pump out all that extra glucose. I mean, you get better quality sleep, and your mind just is so much clearer. And and as you do physically get better too, you start to walk and exercise more, and that just does more to help the mind. So those are some things that I feel like don't always get pushed out as much sometimes when it comes to thinking of how healthy you really are.
Thank you. Kim, anything to add with that?
You're still muted there. There you go.
Sorry, just
That's all
trying
right.
to make sure that you're doing the things that you know that needs to be done, as far as making sure that you're trying to do choose better when it comes to nutrition. And no telling, it depends. Everybody is in a different place when it comes to nutrition. Some people, they may not be able to afford, but maybe some maybe can't get the high quality food right at this point, but hopefully sometime in life they can. But whatever they can afford, if they make sure they're choosing the better option. So it's reading your labels, the nutrition labels on the back of the foods, or on the front, wherever it's located, and making sure that you're choosing things that's that may be healthier for you, not all the sugars, not all the ultra processed foods, if you can. It's okay to indulge in it for a little bit, but trying to make sure you choose as healthy as you can, you know depending on your means of how much money you have and everything like that. Trying to choose vegetables, high quality vegetables, or frozen vegetables, fresh vegetables more so than the can. And if for some reason you have to choose the canned vegetables, rinse that, all the liquids off, and, start from scratch, and then, build upon that with the seasonings that you decide to use. Cooking at home more than you cook, eat outside the home definitely helps. So things like that, making sure you get your movement in. Your body was made to move, and if you can move, you try to move. Even people that maybe in wheelchairs, wheelchair bound, you find them moving. And if they can move, then we definitely, if we can walk and things of that nature, we should do that same thing. Get to moving. Just all of the things, just things that's going to help you out, making sure you get your, enough sleep, and also making sure you're hydrating. That to me, that is going in that, going that pathway of becoming healthy again, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It does. It does. So thank you to you both. And the question was, did I ask it? I know I had it up there so I wouldn't forget it. It was from Low Carb Queen. How long have each of you been on Mounjaro, Kim J and Grant?
Go ahead, Kim.
I started Mounjaro July 30th of 2024. So it's almost 2 years, just shy of 2 years for me.
And what is your dosage, Kim J?
I'm on the 7.5 milligram dose. I started that back again. I was on it before, and then I had to go down to the 5, titrate down to the 5 for a few months, and then I went back up. I think it was about 5 months, and then I actually titrated back up to 7.5. So I started 7.5 again in March 1st to be exact.
Okay, we're gonna let Grant pop in here with his dosing and where he is with Mounjaro. How long have you been on that dose? And then we're going to come back to Kim J, because you're using a lot of terms there. You're talking about titrating up, titrating down. I'm sure folks are thinking like me, why? Well, but go ahead, Grant.
Great, Kim J, to still be on 7.5 after 2 years. That's awesome. But I was just counting here. I've been on Mounjaro for 66 weeks now. And I've titrated all the way up to 15 milligrams at this point.
Okay, so, and if I'm not mistaken, 15 milligrams is the highest dosing.
Correct.
And again, I'm on week 9 of Zepbound, and I'm still on the starter dose, the 2.5 milligrams. And my doctor and I have talked a little bit about that. And certainly I can go up to the next dose, but as long as I'm losing weight, why? We're just going to stay at the 2.5 dose until it becomes a challenge for me to lose weight. And y'all, it's not challenging at all to struggle to eat. I'm having that. That's probably my biggest struggle, is the struggle to eat enough protein in a day. And I did see Mounjaro journey with Pam. She's on Mounjaro, and she says her doctor, she's lost the equivalent of a Backstreet Boy, she calls it. So the equivalent of an adult male in weight. And she is now on maintenance and has been on maintenance. And she still needs 90 grams of protein a day. And based on my weight, it's a minimum of 100 grams of protein a day for me. And it should be closer to 120 and 125 grams of protein per day. And like I said, y'all, I had chicken breast for breakfast and some eggs, and that is not enough protein to sustain and fuel my body. So I've got to work on that. I've got to do better with that. So Kim, tell us a little bit about what that means to titrate up, titrate down. What does that word titrate mean? If someone is just new to all of this, share a little bit about that and why you went up and then back down.
Okay, so when it comes to titration, that's just saying that I'm going, up from, because there's a certain amount of doses when it comes to, say, Mounjaro and Zepbound, Ozempic and Wegovy. And so for Mounjaro and Zepbound, it's 2.5 milligram doses, a starting dose, which means they're trying to just get you, acclimated to using the medication. And then after that, then you have the 5 milligram, the 7.5, the 10 milligram, the 12.5, and the 15 milligram dose of Mounjaro and Zepbound. Again, both of those medications, the active ingredient in the medications is tirzepatide. So since we're not on Wegovy or Ozempic, we're of course talking about what we know about, because I've never been on Ozempic. But so I was on it. I started on a 2.5, just like everybody else normally starts on a 2.5, and then I was on it for 4 weeks. Then I went to the 5 milligram dose, and I was on that up from like what was that? I think around September to December, and then I moved from that, and I was on 7.5. Now I stayed on, like some, I know at one point when they first started this medication, and even some people today now, they titrate up every month. So that's what titration is, going from say 2.5 to 5 to 7.5. That's titrating up. And a lot of people do that. But for me, I had to titrate down. So I went from 2.5 to 5 to 7.5, then back down to 5. Reason being is when when you are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, normally you have a high blood sugars, okay? And a high A1C, anything 6.5 and above. And I was at 15.1. So that means I was very insulin resistant. Oh Lord, and I said something else. I'm very insulin resistant, and which means my body is not putting sugars where it's supposed to go. It's not, making sure that I'm digesting, my foods properly, or carbohydrates properly. So with that being said, I got all the way up to the 7.5 milligram dose, and I decided, I was like, okay, I'm having issues with low blood sugars. Okay. So I went from having high blood sugar issues to low blood sugar issues. So I actually, as I was talking to my doctor about it, just to try to figure out what was going on, because that was a shocker to me. Because I was on my low carb diet and very low carb at first, had to start, upping my carbs. And even though I was upping my carbs, I was on 2 different medications at the time. And so when I got to the 7.5, me and my doctors thought that I would be good and I would not have any more low blood sugars, because I was experiencing low blood sugars even then. So one medication, okay, I should be good, and not so much for me. So I still was having low blood sugars. And when I say low blood sugars, anything under 70 milligrams per deciliter, when I check when I prick my finger, or if I wear a continuous glucose monitor, which some people do, if it goes under 70, then that means your sugars are too low. And so we need to do something about it right away. And I was having too many of those at the time. And, I was going to, like, my sugars was low as 50 something. And of course, that is not good at all. Because I can actually potentially, go into a coma, or, it's just a lot of bad things could happen. So therefore, we decided to titrate back down and to a 5, me and my doctor. And so I did that. And even with the 5 milligram, I still was having low blood sugars. So I had to make a decision. What do I need to do? And so I decided, Kim, I kept titrating up, or going up, and increasing my carbs. However, I was also increasing fiber. And so, if you all knew, say if you know keto, if you've ever been on a keto diet, you know that, even though you make your total carbs is a certain amount, if you up your fiber too, then you're actually not getting as many carbs, as you need to sometimes. So that was my case. And so I was still having low sugar. So what I had to do is I had to up my carbs and kind of keep my fiber at a certain point. And that kind of helped me out. And so I stopped having as many low blood sugars. And so I was able to go back up to the 7.5, because I got inflammation when I went down on that 5. A lot of inflammation increased in my body. And then also because of the increased carbs and the less of amount of tirzepatide I was having, I started gaining weight back. So yes. And I was having hot flashes left and right. So yeah. So we decided to go back to 7.5 milligram dose.
So 7.5 is working for you at this moment then?
All right. So yes, it's working better when it comes to, look, I'm a work in progress, y'all. You hear me? So when it comes to, I don't have as much inflammation, but I still have inflammation every day. And so I can walk from the bedroom to the kitchen and I feel, inflammation in my knees, really prevalent. So I'm I'm still working with my doctor about it, and we're gonna see where I go next. But until then, yes, I'm on the 7.5. It is better. I'm not having as many hot flashes, but I also got on hormone replacement therapy, thank God, and so that's helped me a lot too with that. Um, and then yeah, so that's pretty much where I want to go with that tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And friends, we're going with all of it. So if you
Mhm.
do have questions about being on a GLP-1,
Yeah.
I know that we've got a question that we need to talk about with paying for GLP-1s, especially when your insurance does not cover. And my insurance is not covering my weight loss journey using Zepbound.
Mhm.
It is just a formulary exclusion for my Blue Cross Blue Shield network. It's not about the provider, um, but it is about the network that you're in. And
Yes.
we all know some other YouTubers, content creators who are using GLP-1s, wherein within a benefit year, their insurance company, the network, has changed which medication it will cover, and so that required a medication change for them if they wanted their insurance to pay for it. So I am paying out of pocket every month for my dosing, but I will tell you, I'm taking Zepbound. And check with your doctor. My primary care physician was able to give me a sample, and I thought I was getting 1 week's dose. I got a month's dose for free in office from my primary care physician. So that, again, that was a blessing for me. And even still, because my FSA funds, which is, my pre-tax dollars from my paychecks, I can still then reimburse myself for those costs. And, you can use your FSA card and I can pay for that at the point of sale. I kind of like getting all my money back
I
in,
know that's right.
chunks,
Yeah.
but so I did max out my FSA for the year, annual deductions for the year. So that's going to help in my case. But yeah, you can pay, and I am paying, and I'm investing in my health. Yeah, I don't need more stuff in my house. I've got too much stuff now and need to have a yard sale. But what I am doing at this moment is investing in my health. I want to go to Grant. Grant, would you share with us or tell folks, are you paying? What does that look like? Because your children, my kid is in college, but you've still got school age children and a wife. So how are you paying for your weight loss journey and having been on Mounjaro for over a year now?
Well, thankfully, my Blue Cross Blue Shield does still have in the formulary the Mounjaro for diabetes. We've checked about Zepbound too for just future reference, and they do not cover anything but the Mounjaro. That's it.
Mhm.
So I paid $25 a month for a month's supply. So I feel really blessed for that, no doubt. But like you, KendyK, I go to the Dollar Tree a lot now too, with the kids and all, and with Destiny's autistic needs. We have to spread it out as much as we can.
Absolutely. And we've talked about, Kim J, you've talked about endocrinologists. Let's just take a moment and let's just talk about what our health team looks like. I too see an endocrinologist. I'm a woman of a particular age at 50, and I am at this moment not using hormone replacement therapy because y'all, I'm in the full pause. Okay, the men have all paused. When I walked into the
I
room,
know that's right.
the men all
Oh,
paused.
oh.
Anyway, so I've had all of that testing, and yeah, no need for anyway, that might be too, it's making Grant blush. So we'll move forward. But let's talk about, so I do see an endocrinologist for my hypothyroidism. And if you do have hypothyroidism, just know, as I'm sure you probably already do know, that that makes weight loss even more challenging. Okay. And I also have my primary care physician who prescribed me the medication, Zepbound. And I also see a registered dietitian. So my insurance provider, my network will pay for my dietitian, and I can do virtual and in-person appointments with my dietitian. And so I just continued on with that because I'd already been working with a dietitian. Who else? I also do twice a week, I see a physical therapist. And that's my idea of getting me up and moving because I have one total knee replacement and I do not want another. That was another reason why I wanted to work on weight loss, because weight loss was the main factor for all of my other comorbidities, right? Wearing down the cartilage in my knees, uncontrolled high blood pressure. You know, my father had type 2 diabetes. That was my worst fear. I did not want type 2 diabetes. I did not want to, be giving myself insulin injections. But who else makes up Kim J, if you want to go first, and then Grant, tell us, who do you include as part of your healthcare team who is helping you as you go through this weight loss journey?
Okay, so my team, I have, of course, the PCP, which is your primary care physician. Um, Actually, I don't see them as much anymore because I'm like, well, since you have me going to all these different people, since I was diagnosed with diabetes, with it being so high, dangerously high, at 15.1, my doctor was like, you need to go to this place and this person and this person and that person. So she sent me to a lot of people. But when it comes to diabetes, it can affect so many things in your body, so many, all of your organs. So I now see a endocrinologist, which they can help with hormones. They can help with diabetes management, thyroid disease, like KendyK says. They can help, with metabolic and weight loss issues, reproductive health, adrenal, and bone metabolism, all kinds of things, right? So that's an endocrinologist. So if you think you may need one, you can talk to your healthcare provider about that, your PCP, and they can, suggest you one or refer you to one. Also, I have a kidney doctor. That's because I have chronic kidney disease, and then stage 3, and or they 2B, 3A. Depends on how my EGFR looks. And then, which is a marker that they use when it comes to blood work, to see where I'm at when it comes to how my kidneys are functioning. I have a heart doctor just to make sure the heart is ticking properly and everything. And let me see who else I got. That's pretty much it when it comes to the health that I talk about. Oh, I'm sorry, and I also have a wonderful oh Lord, um, OBGYN. So of course I'm not OB. I ain't having no babies right now. So yes,
OBGYN,
I go for
yes.
endocrinology. I'm
Yes.
sorry, for gynecology.
Gynecology.
Yes, and she's actually helping with my hormone replacement therapy as well, because they can do that as well.
Absolutely. Grant, who do you include in your health team to help you manage? Because we're not medical providers. We are just simply sharing our GLP-1 weight loss journey.
Yes.
Please use this as information. And we're talking about our truths and sharing our successes and our things that we're still working on. But please consult your own medical team as you consider the use of GLP-1s. But Grant, talk to us about who is part of your medical team.
Well, of course, my primary care physician too. It's actually a nurse practitioner in my case. Best PCP I've ever had. I really appreciate her. And also my foot doctor. I do have a foot doctor that I don't see as much now that things have cleared up. But having diabetes, you just have to really keep an eye on your extremities. And in this case, my feet were pretty bad there for a while. So he's done a lot to get that cleared up and helps to monitor to make sure where they took my bone out that that's still doing okay and that there's no wounds developing or anything, which I keep an eye on that too. That's really the only two at this point. My A1C got under control so quickly. I never have went to how you say that word?
Endocrinologist.
Yeah. So, but I do need to probably get one on call just so I have one going forward. Um, and as Charles with Round Mountain Zepbound said, as a man above 40 now, I may want to get my testosterone and all that checked too, because I've never had that checked. So,
I
Yes.
saw that thumbnail. I did see that
yeah,
thumbnail. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
men can have andropause, which a lot of people don't know about. But yes,
right,
like women have menopause, we always hear about that. But guys, they have andropause, and some of the symptoms that we have as women, sometimes they have it as well. When it comes to andropause. So yes.
sure, sure.
Okay, I just want y'all, the stream is, this is an amazing stream, and I've been popping up comments. So if you do have any questions about a weight loss journey, especially if you are considering or you have questions as a GLP-1 user, please go ahead and drop those now. Low Carb Queen is celebrating titrating up. And titrating just simply means that you're going to a higher dosage.
There it goes.
This is her first day on 15 milligrams of Mounjaro, which is the same medication that Grant and Kim J are taking, and I'm taking Zepbound. So congratulations, Low Carb Queen, for moving up in that dosing. And I presume one moves up in the dosing because of, you know, I don't know. So I don't want to say. So Kim J or Grant, would one of you want to speak to that, why someone would titrate up to the higher dose?
You want to take it, Grant?
Yeah, I'll do it. So, basically, that coin term food noise tries to return at some points when you're on a dose, and that's one reason that a doctor may advise you to go up to try to handle that, so you can continue to get your weight off if that's the goal, and the satiety and all that too, and but like Kim J, it's so fortunate she's still at 7.5 2 years in. So she still has 10, 12.5, and 15 to go up to if ever needed. If ever needed. I mean, there's some people that stay on 2.5 for years. I mean, it's just, everybody's different, and every person responds differently to it, and may not ever need to go all the way up. But in my case, I am all the way up, and um, you know, I've heard like again, Barb Healthy Cause, she's been on 15 milligrams for years now. So and it still works for her. So I mean, that's my hope as well, to because I'm a lifer probably. As long as we can figure out how to pay for it and all that.
Yeah. But it's funny that you mentioned that point, that you're probably a lifer, meaning that you're probably going to be on this medication for the long haul, for years. Well, I mean, I've been on blood pressure medication since I was in high school. Y'all, I am
Oh, wow.
50 years old,
Yeah.
and I have been taking, started with a water pill, right? Um, and they just keep going up in the dose, and y'all, but so far, y'all, I've come off of um, metropolol, I think is how you say that. Not taking that at all anymore, and that's a
Good.
blessing. And I just hope it just things just keep going in that direction. I totally have more energy, and the boss way is talking to us about what she's eating as part of her weight loss journey. She says, I eat whatever I have a taste for. But it is more protein than carbs. I don't track or measure my food. And she has set a kind of a goal for herself. For 14 days, I'm going to have no burgers, chips, ice cream, fast food, chocolate, white bread, and she has more: soda, cakes, donuts, cookies, or candy. And can I tell y'all, my brother came to my mommy's house with some Little Debbie
Oh boy.
Swiss cake rolls.
Hmm.
Friends, I haven't had that in probably 10 years. And I cracked up because I had no idea he still ate those things, right? And he had diabetes, but he lost the weight. And without using a GLP-1, he lost the weight, but he still craves those Swiss cake rolls.
Hmm.
And y'all, You know, they come two in a package.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate one of them and put the other in the fridge. And do you know that thing hurt my belly?
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm glad that it did. It
Yeah.
was too sweet and it hurt my belly. So, with that in mind, let's kind of shift gears. Let's talk about there are side effects. And one of the major side effects of GLP-1 weight loss medication is that it will suppress your appetite, causing you to lose these massive amounts of weight, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is a side effect. But then there are also side effects like constipation
Mm-hmm.
that I am suffering with. And in week 9 of my Zepbound journey, I'm very new to weight loss using a GLP-1. I am still struggling with continued constipation. And y'all, it literally only over the weekend I realized, KendyK, friend, I can I sprinkle Miralax on all of my food as if it is salt because I don't sprinkle table salt at all or
Right.
even use much table salt in my cooking because of my high blood pressure issues. So instead I have Miralax in a salt shaker so that I can
Ah,
sprinkle that on all of my food.
Okay.
And I'm talking about in my coffee, in my eggs, in my spaghetti that I made with spaghetti squash. Y'all just sprinkle it in there. It doesn't have a taste to me. It doesn't change the taste of my food and just sprinkle it in. But what I was doing wrong as far as constipation is I would, eat a prune a day. My mama eats 2 prunes a day. I eat a prune a day. I eat my apple slices with peel on, to get more fiber in. And Grant, you talked about the little greens gummies. I found those and
mm,
I like those. But
good.
what I was doing was once my digestive system would get on the right track, then I would stop pushing the fiber. But KendyK, I finally have it, y'all. I gotta keep, just like I'm pushing protein every day, I gotta push the fiber every single day with the constipation. So I want to hear from Kim J. I want to hear from Grant. What are your go-tos for fiber and how do you struggle with, because some people don't struggle with constipation at all, but I know it is my struggle. So I'm leaning in to get some more ideas for dealing with constipation if that is a side effect for you.
Okay, for me, I do Benefiber. I take Benefiber, and that's tasteless, truly tasteless. So some people, some of these things say it's tasteless, but you still can taste it. Yes, truly tasteless. So I put that in my profit every morning. That gives me some fiber, 3 grams of fiber per 2 teaspoons. I do put a little bit more in there, so I get that. I do flaxseed powder. I like that. I love that a lot. Didn't like it before. Was scared to even try it. And since I've been on my better health journey since July of 2024, I've been using that, and I've grown to love it. It's a nutty fiber, and so yes, I do that. Um, 2 tablespoons, sometimes 1 tablespoon. It just depends on what I'm actually putting it on. And I put it on just like you said, Kendi. I put it, on different things. On top of it, and then I just mix it in and I eat it. So it kind of looks weird to people, so I don't like. Sometimes I don't like showing it, but I'll show the regular food first, and then I'll show it, on my channel, just so it won't like gross people out or whatever. But yes, I use it. I eat vegetables, green leafy vegetables. I also love me a gala apple. The gala apple I choose is from Aldi. It's 4 grams of fiber in per 4 ounces. So I do that. I love pecans or pecans, depending on where you live. That's 3 grams. Look, right now today, honey, you hear me? Right here. It's 3 grams of fiber per 1 ounce. So yeah, those are some of the things I intake for fiber. Oh, and also, like I said, my mission low carb tortilla. I said it right, Felicia Marie B. Tortilla. Because I love saying tortilla. So tortilla. Why do we have 2 L's there and we don't want to use them? Yeah, so that's how I get my fiber. I also was doing solar bread. I just changed from solar. But solar has a lot of fiber in it as well as solar bagels if you like that.
Grant.
Well, I already mentioned the Metamucil one, the greens. That's my, believe it or not, that's about the main thing I have for purposeful fiber. I know I have fiber in some other foods, but and I'm a Honeycrisp fan. Galas are good too. But,
I like galas too, Kim J.
Honeycrisp, my main apple. And when you're talking about pecans, my grandma always used to say, "Well, that's what you keep under your bed at night." So pecans. I'm sorry, it just came to my mind.
I love it. I love it. So it's pecans for me. Yes.
But anyhow, so I do eat a lot of, well, I try to moderate it as much as I can because the apples will make the sugar go up. But I love apples for the fiber, the pectin and the peeling and all that. So, but and of course the protein bars, a lot of those have good fiber in them too. As Twan has mentioned in the past, you like to get stuff that has both fiber and protein in it if you can, just to make it more advantageous to you. But so that's why I like those Atkins bars. But that's about it.
We have so many GLP-1 users in the chat, and thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining us. We've got so many folks who are interested in GLP-1s for medical weight loss. And if you're on the fence, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I highly recommend. I am in week 9 of my Zepbound weight loss journey, and I have lost 20.5 pounds. And y'all, I have never lost that much weight that quickly. Yeah, they put me on when I needed the knee replacement. The surgeon would not do the knee replacement. It said, I need you to drop 50 pounds. And so I was on that pill, but a side effect of that pill is that it does damage to your heart. And so sorry, I can't think of the name of it, but does anybody know the name of that pill? It was the weight loss pill before GLP-1s came on the scene. But I took that pill. Phentermine. Thank you for mentioning that. So again, I'm probably going to be like Grant. If I've been taking, blood pressure medication for upwards of 30 years, 35 years, and I'm 50 years old already, I wouldn't mind at all taking a GLP-1. Don't forget your whole foods though, folks. What am I doing for fiber to get an influx of fiber in my diet every day? Is I made collard greens yesterday for Sunday, and I only needed one bunch, and thank goodness I only needed one bunch because that's enough for me. And they were $5 though. So Kim J mentioned earlier in this conversation that how whole foods, organic foods, food is high. And so just for that one bunch of greens, it was $5, y'all. So the cost of eating healthy is extremely difficult. But if you can't pay for the collards, then what about a cabbage? Cabbage is typically a lot cheaper option, but still great fiber in cabbage. So I will be cooking cabbage probably by Wednesday or Thursday to get me through the rest of the week as far as pushing fiber, just like I'm pushing high protein during every day. And y'all, we're getting ready to kind of come down. I hope that I have covered a lot of our questions. Let me ask the panel this, and we've got a great panel and we've got great folks who are content creators, and they have been sharing some of their experiences, and we'll continue to do that. Tell us one thing that people might get wrong about a GLP-1. Can you share to my panelists, my co-hosts here for today, what's one thing that people might get wrong about a GLP-1, taking a GLP-1 for weight loss?
Taking a GLP-1 is not cheating. Okay, it's not cheating at all. If it's something that is going to help you, just like, Kendi was talking about with, when it comes to blood pressure medicine, if we have hypertension, We need something that's going to help us, get that under control, go back to down to the normal level as much as possible. So with that being said, we take that medication. If for some reason, say we're having a baby and we need, something to help us with the pain, the labor, then we may, do an epidural, get an epidural. If you have surgery, you have to have some kind of medicine. They may, give you some medicine to help you with that, to make you go to sleep so that they can perform the surgery. Versus having you up and looking at them while they're, doing whatever they need to do to you. Um, and so, and we take pain medicine, if for some reason we have, some people can't even stand up a little headache. So if you do that, you drink alcohol sometimes when you have, issues that you're going through, whatever. So you're doing whatever you need to do to try to help, help you out, right? So when it comes to medication, if your doctor, if you and your doctor have talked and you decided that this is what's best for you at the moment, then it's okay to do it. My doctor, for me, I went on, my blood pressure pills, and it did help me in that effort when I started taking right and every day like I was supposed to. Um, but it was Mounjaro that helped me even the most, because even the more, because I was able to lose the weight as well as help get my A1C down. So if for some reason you decide that you want to take GLP-1s, do not listen at others when it comes to your health care, taking care of yourself. Okay. You want to just listen at yourself, God, as well as your doctors, and you do whatever you need to do, that's going to serve you best. I say that all the time. Make sure you're doing what serves you best. Okay. Don't listen at the judgment that people, give out, because they're doing something, I'm sure themselves, that that some people may decide that is not, not good. But you have to do what you have to do. So it's not cheating. It's actually, you should look at yourself as proud of yourself because you're taking care of yourself. Okay.
That's right. And she hit about everything I was going to say, but there was one other thing I thought
Amen.
of, was, just because you're not doing it the natural way doesn't mean it's a secondary, less good way to do it. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, for people who can lose without the assistance of medication. But, for people like me with the genetics that I'm prone to, with the high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, and the diabetes, I mean, there was no question. If there was a medication available that can help me and get me healthier in the quickest way possible, I'm going to take it. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I just, the natural way is not the only and best way to do it.
Exactly. But you know what, Grant? We're doing it the natural way, right? We're
True.
doing it the natural way. And then we also are, being assisted by this medication. And it's
Yes.
doing wonders, at least for me, as for you and KendyK as well. So, yes, we, advocate for it.
And if you don't mind, Kenny Cat's going to answer one other question that
Go
Felicia
ahead.
Mary B had there at 7:05. She asked how we remain motivated after being on Mounjaro so long, and the main thing for me is I don't, before you get healthy, you really don't realize how unhealthy you are sometimes. But now that I'm healthier, I don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back to the way I felt. And so that helps keep me motivated for, for my family and for myself to keep going each day as I am now instead of what I was.
Yes, exactly. And for me,
Anything?
this
Go ahead, Kim J.
okay, for me, I mean, this medication definitely, well, it's helping me, and it's helped me tremendously. Again, I was able to get my A1C from a dangerously high, number 15.1 to 5.6, and now it's 5.3. When I checked it last in February, so that's great. I was able to get my blood pressure down from, a high blood pressure that's it stayed high, and to now the normal range very quickly. I was also able to, my kidneys levels, they're pretty stable, which is great. And then also, I mean, it's just so many different things. I was able to lose weight, and even though I gained some weight, about 15 pounds or so, I still would choose this medicine, because it definitely has helped me, tremendously when it comes to, my better health journey. So it helped me reclaim my health. So I'm happy about that.
Mm. I love that, reclaiming our health. And then something else you just said before that, I would still choose the GLP-1 weight loss medication. Would you say the same thing, Grant?
Yeah, absolutely. Every single day.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Now, I want to make sure folks know a little bit more about each of your channels. So I don't know whichever one of you wants to go first. Share what are people going to see? And Kim J, I want to make sure that you talk about, y'all, Kim J has started doing these grocery hauls. And I love that because it gives me ideas of, as a newer GLP-1 user. I'm on week 9 of Zepbound. So Kim J, tell us a little bit more about what people can see on your channel and what kind of content. Tell us when you're going to be live next on your channel, any content you might be editing for this week, and then Grant.
So I do weekly lives. I'm in my channel, Kim J Sweet Healthy Life. I do weekly lives on Tuesday night, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. I also, I have a series called Sugar Talks, and I normally do those on Thursday evenings. I'm just starting that. So that's, my baby. So, because it's about, people that have diabetes and just talking to them and, just sharing, certain things about the journey that we don't hear normally on our platforms all the time. Is what I, try to look for in people so they can talk about it. And then it is just regular conversation. It's not like interview, quote unquote, but, also, I do challenges on my channel. Like, for instance, hula hoop. We had the hula hoop challenge. I did that. We've had squat challenges. We've had high knee challenges, and different people within our GLP-1 community, may start the challenge, and whoever wants to jump in will jump in. I have a whole lot of fun with that. I share parts of my journey. I'm gonna share a little bit more as time progresses. On Tuesday nights, I like talking just about health in general. Just trying to make sure that, we understand just health in its totality. So I give topics, on that. Jesus always come in. He comes in, honey, whenever he feels like it. Yes. So I talk about God on my channel. It's about health, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Because I think it's, we have to do all of the things when it comes to health, not just one. It needs to be all of it. So yes, that's what I talk about. And then I also just started a channel membership. And yes, we'll be getting a little deeper, going deeper together on the membership. So yes, that's what my channel is about. And then whatever else comes up. Mm-hmm.
Grant, tell us a little bit about your channel. What can folks expect from you? And you actually had a live stream earlier today.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Well, congrats, Kim J, for starting memberships as well.
Thank you.
That's a good milestone that will hopefully continue to grow your channel there. And I appreciate all you do on your channel, but and KendyK yours as well. We appreciate all the support. But as for me, Faithful GLP-1 Journey, the name tells a lot of it. I'm just wanting to tell my journey from this GLP-1 standpoint primarily, but also through my family with my autistic daughter and then my wife, who's also lost weight, but without GLP-1 in her case. And I go live on Mondays at 5. And then I have started doing Wednesdays walk around the block morning. So I've started that around 9 or 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. And then Saturdays, I have been trying to do a hike of some kind each week, or a walk at a college, or something outside. We'll probably be going back to Dollywood here in a few weeks, so probably do that again. So, I like to have fun. I like the lives. KendyK's taught me I need to try to do a lot of evergreen long form too, but I'm trying to get better on that, but I love my lives. I just love the interaction and getting to talk to people and like my live earlier, I figured I'd be on 15 minutes, but the chat just made it so much more fun and made it a lot more in depth. So I appreciate y'all on that. But in any case, so just and I sprinkle in some gaming lives. I know it's completely off the wall, but hey, that's part of my journey too. I
That's
like
right.
to have fun. So
Mhm.
I don't have a scheduled time for that. It's just whenever I get time between family time, work, and everything else, I just say, "Hey, I got a minute." Boom. So anyhow, that's my journey.
And thank you all. So my channel is KendyK, being KendyK at 50. And I'm on a weight loss journey, just like my co-host here today. Y'all, this panel convenes weekly on Monday nights. We kind of think of it as the drive at 5, y'all. It's just a way for us to connect. We are on this GLP-1 journeys. We all show up in this world differently. We are all struggling with the psychology part of our GLP-1 journey. What causes us to overeat? And understanding though that obesity is a disease, okay? It is a medical disease, just like type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, like chronic kidney disease, like Crohn's, like high blood pressure. These are all, obesity is one of them, and there is now medical intervention in the form of the injections and now even pill form. And so if you are a pill form user of a GLP-1 medication, we would love for you to join us on panel and talk about that. If you're using the new quick pen and that is now available to folks like me who are paying for their GLP-1 medication each month, um, we want to hear from you as well. Well, thank you all for being here. Whether you're on Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, if
Ozempic.
you're taking phentermine, if you're still taking that medication, or if you are on a program that does not have you taking a GLP-1 at all, we want to hear from you. Let's just talk weight loss. Let's just talk about being on a health and wellness journey for life. For life. And that's what we're talking about every Monday for the GLP-1 Real Talk Live panel. We are the GLP-1 Collective, and I thank you all for being here. If all hearts and if all minds are clear, go in peace. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.